3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Fully Unscripted. I'm Todd Lanner. That's Cash Daniel. This is RD1 Spirits, and I'm going to start this off the way I need to. What time is it? Is it 5 o'clock yet?
Yeah, 15 till 5.
You going to join me?
Okay.
It's been a day.
As you guys can tell, he's more fired up than I usually am.
It's been a day.
I got my coffee here, but I guess this will wake me up just fine.
Cheers. All right. As I said, welcome back to Fully Unscripted. We're recording our last Wednesday episode. Start back on Tuesdays next week. So we're going to have a little bit larger of a gap between recording days and release days. So we're going to have to try to account for that. It's going to be fun.
I think we can. I think there's enough topics in the world to go around to fill in the gaps. So I think we'll be all right. Plus, be in a little bit of a new space.
Yes. Yeah. We'll be introducing the new...
What are we going to call that place?
Do what?
What are we going to call it?
I'll let y'all come up with that.
We can come up with a name for it.
What was the name you gave for the bar we wanted to do? You mentioned that with the with the gym concept. Am I teasing too much right now?
Yeah, dude, you don't give me my business ideas.
All right. Well, I mean,
I was wanting to call it the Players Lounge though.
Call it the Players Lounge.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, with an A.
With an A.
Deal.
Yeah.
Are you trying to get out of the bourbon, or are you finishing your coffee?
I'm finishing my coffee that I make.
You should always...
Because usually when I make my coffee, you steal it from me, so I'm not going to give you...
That's true.
Because I'm not going to give you the opportunity for it.
That's true. I've had like a pot and a half of coffee today, though. So I think I'm good. I got the jitters.
How was Thanksgiving, dude?
It was great. I followed the order of the draft we took.
As did I.
Yeah, my the post Maria chimed in for the post Thanksgiving nap. I definitely enjoyed that. I needed it badly.
I was in a coma.
Yeah, it was. I think you answered me like 3 days later. You're like, sorry, I just woke up.
Literally, that's what it felt like. I mean, we literally ate it. We ate at 1 o'clock, and then obviously football games were already going on. Then I fell asleep. I think the Giants were playing, and it was the first quarter. And I woke up, and the Sunday night game was on. So I was like, "Yeah, you've been asleep for."
That's a good one.
You've been asleep for a little bit, bud.
So we were at Maria's mom's house for our last Thanksgiving meal. We had my family, we had like the friends group, and then my family, and then her family 3 days in a row. So her family was the last stop. I was putting on some weight by then. I had my full meal, and then I went to her mom's new reclining couch to test it out, and by God, it's comfortable because I slept there for about 3 hours.
It's been a rough week in the gym. I'm not going to lie, because
it's been tough
because of the food that was engulfed on Thanksgiving, and as you were saying, the day after Thanksgiving with leftovers and all that good shit. So.
Yeah, so I have a tradition to add to the list, and I'll make sure it's drafted next year when this time comes around again. But my mother is a phenomenal cook. And
you've said that multiple times.
Yeah. And this year, everybody gets sick of eating turkey after 3 or 4 days, right? Like there's always like an extra bird left or plenty of it and sliced up, and everybody dishes it out. So you take some home, and everybody gets sick of just the dry, normal turkey, right? Like I know you do your meal prep stuff with ground turkey, but you can season it differently. Now it's ground chicken, but you can season differently when it's just turkey slices, right? Like there's only so much you can do with it. Well, my mom called me and she's like, hey, I made turkey a la king. Have you ever had that?
I'm gonna get. I haven't, but I'm gonna go ahead and guess it's some kind of soup.
Kind of, not really, but kind of.
So like a stew almost.
Kind of. So it's basically like she takes the turkey, shreds it up,
stir fry,
and then it's close. She takes the turkey, shreds it up, adds keys. I'm drunk already. Adds peas and carrots, and then like a cream sauce. Ooh. And so it's almost like a gravy, but kind of a little thicker consistency. Mm-hmm. And then you put it over dressing or stuffing, whatever you call it, which is, super healthy. And it's a phenomenal leftover meal. And I have some more of it if you'd like to try. But it's pretty damn good.
Is it just the turkey and the gravy, and there's nothing else in it?
No, it's cream sauce, turkey, peas, and carrots, basically.
Done.
Yeah, it's like a gravy.
Done. That's no problem.
It's phenomenal.
I think I'm still hungover from Saturday too.
Saturday was a day.
To be honest with you,
I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about Saturday.
Well, I mean, we can dive into it a little bit. We can't talk about everything.
I think we should put at least a little segment of a video clip that my cousin sent us from that day. without the sound though, because there's
I know which one you're talking
your
about.
singing was
Yeah, and as long as we could cut that part out, I think that would be okay.
Brandon, I'm gonna drop you the video. It's like 15 seconds long. We'll have to insert it right now. And it's we got to see your singing on display. We had a good little crew though, man. We had a good little crew.
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. So we went to the Hill.
This is after Kentucky beat Louisville.
So
the game was a 3:30 kickoff.
3:30 kick, which shout out to the boys for bringing it back home, bringing the Governor's Cup back home. L's down for life. That was a hell of a game, to be quite honest with you. But so we started there and then went to Tin Roof. You went to eat Mexican.
I did.
Across
It was
the
fantastic.
street.
It was brought me.
And
I was in dire need of food.
And then you came back and got me. Then we went to Ruby's. I'm literally trying to piece this together like in my head because I can barely.
I touched more corners of this town on Saturday than I have in the last year combined.
And then from Ruby's to the Hill.
Yeah.
And then,
did we ever go to Bourbon?
No, I don't think
Okay,
we
so
did.
we went to the Hill. And then we came all the way back down.
Then we came downtown to
Bell's,
and it was closed. And then that's where you left me.
No, we got in.
No, I'm saying that's where you left me for the night.
And I went to Stagger.
Because I literally looked like I was at one point. I was talking to Big Dog there, one of the bouncers, and he looked at me. He goes, "Bro, you're pretty drunk."
Time for you to go home.
I was like, "Yeah, I need to go home."
Yeah,
He's like,
I mean, we
I'll call you
started
later.
shotgunning Happy Dads at the tailgate.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Those dudes were decent.
They were good.
They were good dudes.
They were good. They were inclusive. They did like
and they easily could have been like, fuck you guys. Like we got all these chicks and everybody up here, so you guys can just go
they were
ahead.
good. They were very.
We were
very
so
kosher.
close beating them in fucking cornhole though. That's my fault. I'll go ahead and
I'm not going to lie to you. Look, I wasn't going to bring it up, but you let me down.
I fucked up.
You shit the bed on me.
I bad.
We got us. I got us. Brandon doesn't
20.
even know this story.
It was
Yeah.
20 to 15.
It was 20 to 18.
20 to 18.
We needed 1
with
point.
with a no bust on it either.
Yeah, no bust. We needed 1 point, and Kyle got you. He snuck one in there. That was a good toss.
He did.
But you had the last bag. You had the last. It's okay. We're not going to harp on that. So anyway, we had a great tailgate, great ball game. But we started with the Happy Dads, which I hadn't tried before, and I'm actually impressed. They're not carbonated.
No,
they had
they're not. That's
electrolytes.
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like I felt like I was drinking bubbles.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's why it was easy enough to drink like 25 of them.
Yeah, at least.
Because that's exactly what it felt like. I literally woke up. I went to bed that night. I got home at like 2:30. I went to bed. I woke up. There was no way that I could have came and got my truck from your house at that point.
Mm-mm.
No shot.
Mm-mm.
I literally just went back to sleep and I was like, okay.
I was like, we're going to have to reconvene at 4:30.
Let's restart this day like 3-4 hours later.
That's exactly what we did. It was, but so we literally bounced. We went from campus to downtown to campus to downtown to campus, back and forth all throughout the day. But got to celebrate with a lot of people. It was a lot of fun. Some of the football guys made it out to join us.
Yes, they
Some of
did.
the basketball guys made it out to join us.
I'm hoping to get that one particular football player on next week.
I think we can pull that off. I think he'd be willing.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and talk about what the bowl chances are, and
I really hope. Okay, so I saw this the other day. So after we beat Louisville, with LSU losing to Texas A&M, which I did not see coming, that puts us in a predicament to where LSU has to win the SEC championship in order for us to get up, not a New Year's Six, but a higher level bowl game like the Citrus Bowl. And that's some of those other bowl games that are kind of like right below the fence of a New Year's Six.
But Citrus is in Orlando, right?
Yeah, that's in Orlando.
My understanding is we have Nashville, Vegas, or
Well, that's
somewhere
what I'm
in
saying.
Texas.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't see LSU beating Georgia.
I don't
see
either.
anybody beating Georgia.
I don't either.
So that puts us either in Nashville, Vegas, or the Texas Bowl. Now, at the end of the day, everybody knows that bowl games and bowl game committees, the only thing that they care about when choosing these teams, who can bring in the most money,
Mm-hmm.
who can bring in the most fans. And that's why, like, no matter what bowl game it is, I think that's why everybody loves Kentucky because of how well we travel.
Yeah.
Like, my first year we were in the first bowl game we made was in Jacksonville. Whole half of our stadium was filled out.
Oh, yeah.
Went to the Music City my sophomore year, and basically the whole damn stadium was sold out. And the Music City Bowl has kind of a liking about Kentucky fans just because they call Nashville South Lexington.
Yeah, everybody loves Nashville.
And I really hope we get that game because, like I told you before, like some of my hunting buddies are down there, and they're bigger rednecks than I am, and them boys like to throw down.
Well, we might have to let Todd Mead take out an extra insurance policy on the RV if we're going to go down to Nashville with that boy. That'll be.
I don't know if we should be able like.
It might get tipped over.
I don't know if we should do a bus because we're going to end up staying at a hotel, aren't we?
So.
Well, we need
to have a home base.
Yeah, we do. But we can still take like our cars and shit down there.
Or we could take a bus.
Diesel's $5.30, bud.
What's regular? $4.75?
$2.99 in Lexington, cuz.
Just kidding. No, it's gonna be fun regardless.
I can't do Vegas.
When's the last time you went to Vegas?
Never.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying like I can't do Vegas, Todd. My devious ass would go out there and it would be bad news. I just can't do it.
You know how like this goes without saying, but obviously
I could do Texas though.
Obviously Vegas doesn't there's no like. Let me put it this way: if you get off of the elevator at any given time over the 24-hour course of a day in the casino floor, in the lobby area, right? Like where the casino is.
Where the players play.
There's no way of knowing what time it is.
You look down at your watch.
They have a force field. It doesn't
matter.
It doesn't work.
Like just magic.
Your watches just they roll backwards and
so like bowl games. I'm trying to have more of a conversation about this. So like we would always look forward to bowl games because it was more of like a celebration. Now, if you're in like a New Year's Six or in a college football playoff, like that's totally different in my opinion. But like, if you're in a bowl game, like Kentucky's, are they 8-4 or 7-5? Was it 7-5?
They're 7-5.
7-5. Okay.
7-5.
So like, you're a 7-5 team. Now, more than likely, like if you go to a place like the Citrus Bowl, not the Citrus Bowl, but the Music City Bowl, the Texas Bowl, or the Las Vegas Bowl, I mean, not to say that bowl games aren't important. And we will find out here, I'd say, with probably the next episode. I really hope that he doesn't announce before then, because that'd be cool if we get him to announce what he's going to do on the podcast. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if Will's going to.
You just gave away who it was.
Well, yeah, we're going to try to get Will Levis on here next week. Anyway, since we don't have a guest this week. But I'd say he probably wouldn't do that, though. But I would love to. But I am interested to see, what happens in that situation. I was on a radio show, I think yesterday, maybe on Monday, and they were asking me about, maybe what he might do and how his teammates may feel about it, whatever he decides. And at this point, like I always go back to the Citrus Bowl when we played in 2018. You had Josh Allen, Benny Snell, Lonnie Johnson, Mike Edwards, all that NFL talent. But I go to Josh more in particular, because Josh was already a projected first-round draft pick. Defensive Player of the Year, all these accolades, Reese's Bowl invite, kind of the same as Will, except he wasn't the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, obviously. But there's so much stuff that goes into that consideration to where, obviously, and like I said, I can't speak for Will, I can't speak for anybody that makes those kind of decisions, but at the end of the day, you have to know what's best for you. And you know what's best for your stock in the NFL draft. And Josh played. To be quite honest with you, I never got the chance to ask him why. But, knowing Josh, and I got to see him 2 weeks ago. I wish we had enough time for him to be on the podcast with us, because he'd be a hell of a guy to get on here. Mm-hmm. Such a good dude, man. I mean, honest to God, like if he didn't have all this, like, first round draft pick, as good as a player he is, he's just as good, if not of a better of a human being. Mm-hmm. Like the dude is just as genuine as it gets. Could care less about the lights, the glamour, all this bullshit that athletes get caught up in. And I would actually like to know why he played. And this is just from me as a teammate of Josh. Is that
What do you mean why he played?
Why he
In
played
the
in the bowl game? Like why he did. He's already solidified himself. He's already getting projected as a first-round draft pick. Why would you risk an injury? Because, I mean, if you saw last year, Matt Corral went down with a brutal injury for Ole Miss, and he was a projected first-round draft pick. There's so many stuff that could go wrong in that aspect of things, but I think, like, if I ask myself, like, why do you think Josh did it? He didn't do it because he had to. Now, what I mean by had to is that he feel like he could, improve his stock, whatever the case may be in that aspect. But he ended up having probably one of the best games of his life in one of the biggest stages of his career. And I think ultimately that's what helped him jump so high to be the number 7th overall taken in the draft is because of the performance that he had against a team like Penn State.
Is that what he went 7th?
Yeah, he went 7th.
Okay. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. And I think that's what got him to where it was because he went out and had 3 sacks, I think like 5 tackles. I think he even had a pass breakup in that game. And then Benny broke the fucking rushing record in that game for all-time rushing records or for rushing yards. And so
he had a big tutty.
Huge tutty.
Weekend, yeah.
Yeah, shout out Benny, bro. Good shit, bro. Take advantage of your opportunity. You've not gotten one all year, but by God, when you got it, you fucking made it count, dude. Fucking proud of you, dude. But that was with a game like the Citrus Bowl, like it's for a 10-win season. It's in a bigger stage. So when you're a 7-5 team though, and you're in that lower scale of bowl games, I don't know if that plays a factor in his decision or not of whether Will's going to play. If it were me, this is just me, and like I said, I couldn't continue or even begin to put myself in that kind of shoes. But if it were me. Your offensive coordinator just got fired. You got guys banged up. You've already solidified yourself as a legend here at UK. You're already projected to be a first-round draft pick. You're already banged up yourself with turf toe, a shoulder injury, ribs. I mean, when we saw him the other night.
He's hobbling.
I didn't say it, Will. Sorry.
No, I'm saying just like he's been through the ringer.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
No, I'm saying he's been through the ringer.
But that's what I went up, and I got to talk to him for a second. And, I don't know Will on that kind of, level of a teammate or anything like that. I just know him from, afar. And, we got to talking about the game and everything like that. And I said, man, whatever ends up happening, just know that I will always have the most utmost respect for you because of how you carried yourself through an injury. Because like, I know how that shit goes. Like, I know how it feels to go get shot up in multiple areas of your body and go out there playing numb. And then the aftermath of when that shit wears off and you're laying, like, literally in a fetal position because of all the pain that comes with it. And, he could have sat out, a couple weeks ahead or, multiple games. But he only sat out that one game because he literally couldn't move.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that I'll always have the most utmost respect for is that he was one tough son of a bitch.
Yeah, and even the game, I think it was the game he came back from sitting out. He got his finger dislocated, right?
Yeah.
Like,
literally just like, no, that was the Ole Miss game.
Yeah, it was the Ole Miss game.
Yeah, that was the same game.
Because it was the game he got hurt.
Yeah, because that was the same game.
Yeah. I mean, my point is, I said he was hobbling. Like, he's been absolutely
through the shit,
through the ringer,
through the wood chipper on that shit, man.
I think where you were going with this is you would take advantage, take care of your body.
Going back to what I was saying, take care of yourself because you only get this opportunity one time. There's only one chance in your life when you're a projected first-round starter. And, the NFL scouts are going to be able to look at these injuries. Now, they're going to applaud him for playing through those injuries, but don't think that, a turf toe, a rib, and a shoulder goes into consideration of, can we draft this guy?
Yeah.
Can he stay healthy, and things like that. So
because those are injuries you're going to deal with as a football player.
No matter what, especially your ribs, dude.
Yeah.
Like once you get your, especially if they're fractured or broken, I don't know what the
hell. Aaron Rodgers dealt with that this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Everybody was talking about how he's they're not going to play him ever again.
And he's what, 40, 39?
38, 39, something like that. But back to Will. If it were me, And I've always been a team guy. But at the end of the day, if this is an opportunity to be taken especially if they're projecting what they're projecting to be right, is him being the first quarterback taken off the board. You've done everything that you've possibly could for this university, for this team, for this coaching staff, for these fans. You brought an excitement that hasn't been here in so many years. You've played through injury. You've played through whatever. It's time to take care of yourself.
So I agree with you. I won't judge him one iota if he decides not to play.
Absolutely not.
But if he does play, and if he did get hurt, right? What do you think, realistically, and what it should do to a draft status?
Depends on what the severity of the injury is.
Okay,
let's just go ahead and knock on this just in case he does play. Sorry, Will.
But if he played and he got hurt, like the Ole Miss guy, where did he end up getting?
I think he and people can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Matt Crowden. It wasn't an ACL. It was an MCL tear or something along those lines. But he did drop a round. I'm pretty sure. I believe he dropped to the second round,
which affects your guaranteed money.
Oh yeah,
like
every bit of it,
all of it. I don't want to say that I think he's going to play because it means too much to him, because
he was taken 94th overall, so he got taken down to the third round.
So I'm not gonna say, like, I don't want to set the tone for a bad example. I'm not gonna say that it means too much to Will that he's gonna play, right? I think he's kind of like you, not to call you out, but like, he cares so much, right? Like, he cares so much.
He really does.
That he doesn't want the perception to be that he doesn't. And yeah, I think that will affect his judgment. I really do. I think it would affect your judgment, with all due respect.
It would, but like, I'm trying to put myself in those shoes, but at the end of the day, like, I really can't. But I can only, like, it's like with anything. Like, you can talk about any kind of situation with anybody, but unless you're in that person's shoes,
100%, you
don't know what they're thinking, what the possible outcomes could be. So at the end of the day, it's just like you're just making a guess on what you would do.
Yeah. I mean, you got like, each individual player's got their own personal draft status, right? As a quarterback, you quite frankly have a lot more to worry about injury-wise than even a linebacker, for instance, right? Yeah. He could have shoulder, finger, hand, any of those things that could affect you for much longer than
which sucks because, like, with the turf toe especially, that took away his running ability.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the best plays he made last year was running people over, jumping over them, and with his legs, not taking anything away from his arm talent, because his arm talent's there, and that's one of the reasons why he's getting drafted. Also the body style that he's built with, the style of play that he does.
He's a big dude.
It's like, in my consideration, like, I look at it, like, if I was to make any kind of comparison right now to any NFL quarterback, it would be Josh Allen.
100%.
Just because he's a bigger body guy, pro-style quarterback who is still athletic with his feet and has a cannon of an arm.
Yeah. And we've been around a lot of athletes and some big human beings. He's big.
He's a big dude.
He's tall. He's taking care of himself throughout these injuries. Like, he's built to play this game a long time if he takes care of his body.
Absolutely.
So my point is I second your opinion. I think the best decision for him is probably not to play. I just hope that he doesn't put too much weight in what he thinks the fans' perception or his teammates' perception might be if he chooses to sit out.
But like, the teammates, like, because like, if I was like, I'm looking at this as like, if Josh Allen came in that meeting that day
and
said, guys, I love you to death. I love you, but it's time for me to focus on myself, get myself healthy for the combine.
Yeah.
Get myself healthy for these visits.
You wouldn't have thought less of him at all.
I wouldn't. No, not 1 second, because I know the teammate that Josh Allen was, and I know the person that he is, and I feel like Will has that same kind of command and respect in that locker room as Josh did with ours.
Yeah.
So I don't think for 1 second anybody on that team would look at Will and be like, "Oh, he's selfish. Oh,
100%.
He's sold out. or whatever."
I think you said it right too, though. Like, it's so much about the respect that he's built, or that he's commanded and demanded of and from his entire team, right? Like, if this is a guy that is known to be selfish and like he's the guy that's, out partying at 2 a.m. the night before a game or not making his grades or not doing his part and holding everybody else on the team accountable. And then he decides, yeah, I'm going to sit out. Like, you're like, of course you are,
Yeah.
But this is a guy that has led by example and that has, people have talked extremely highly of both on the staff and the roster that, how they, like, you can already speak for most of the guys on this team by saying like, this is how, this, when a player has this opportunity and has given to this program the way that he has, we're going to do nothing but support you no matter what the decision is. So
let's put it this way. I've never heard of anybody transferring from a different school, getting here in the summer. Okay. So getting here in June, I can't remember if it was either June or July, but either way, getting here in the summer and then by fall camp ending, being voted a team captain.
Yeah, that's wild.
I mean, that's literally only 3 months of knowing these guys, getting down on that personal level with them, getting that camaraderie, getting that chemistry. So that right there alone tells me of how much he is respected in that locker room.
I've known just from being around a lot of you guys, but I didn't know until I was around a lot of you guys. Tell kind of how the process goes for being elected a team captain.
Well, I mean, there's so many aspects into it. I mean, the biggest thing that I would say that goes into that is how good of a teammate you really are.
But it's team voted.
It's team voted. There's no coaches. Yeah. That's what I've always said. Like if people were to ask me, what am I most proud of, in my life so far? And I got a lot of life to live. I've made mistakes. Everybody's made mistakes, but the biggest thing that I could be proud of is that my teammates voted me a 2-time team captain, being the most unathletic dude out there on that field. Like, I'm just being real. Like, I can't even I literally can't even go back and watch my games. I really can't, because I'm literally like picking myself apart, like, you slow motherfucker. Like, you should. And I was a horrible open field tackler. Couldn't hardly I was decent in the pass, but I was good at getting guys aligned pre-snap, making check calls, turning blocks back into the defense, spilling guys out to the outside edge where my help was. And I've said this before, that was probably the most meaningful thing that ever came to me, because it wasn't my coaches, it wasn't administrators, it was my brothers that that I went to war with every single day out there on that practice field, in the weight room, and tutoring, and especially cool. Out there on Saturdays, was that it was always a thing for me to be as good of a teammate as I could be. And I think Will embodies that as well, is knowing that if you're a great teammate and you get down on this personal level with guys, kind of like how we were talking the other week, if you can get down on a personal level with every single guy in that locker room, and they can trust you off the field, they're damn sure going to trust you on the field if you're out there producing. Yeah. Now, I mean
you've been in the I heard this quote one time, trust is built in the trenches.
It is. And everything's built in the trenches.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, when you've been through that, like the 6 a.m. workouts, the run until you puke, all that, like when you've done all that and then you go out on that field and somebody makes a mistake, like, it's so easy to be an armchair quarterback and like single somebody out. But like, I know from my experience with my athletic career, it's so much more. Like, it's never that, right? No, it's always like we have to do this. Like, what did we fail? How did we fail you to miss this? Like, you know what I mean? It's so much more of a, we've got your back, let's figure out how we can do this together type attitude. And that's what makes such good teams. That's why when we have such lapses, I mean, basketball's dealing with it now. Football dealt with it through hiccups this year. But it's so much easier to take a step back and look at it as a whole and say, like, how do we go about correcting this? And having guys in the locker room like that are going to hold their teammates accountable and hold their units accountable individually is what makes the difference between a championship team and
But I also think stuff off the field plays a role in that 100%. As well. Like, Like I could remember, being a guy in college, especially on a college football team that has a truck. You're going to get asked to help move a lot of guys. And if you're my teammate, if you're my brother, like, I'll help you in any way I can. And I think that was one.
You've helped me move shit.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, just like I would literally. I remember one day, it was. Well, unfortunately, there was no other clear way to put this. There was a shooting over at one of the apartment complexes that a lot of the football players moved off to because, when you move off campus, you get more money. And so you want to spend as less money as you can on rent to be able to pocket, all that money that's left over.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody moved over to this one apartment complex and it just kept on getting shot up to where I think literally like the athletic department bought out everybody's leases just so they can get them.
Can you say where it was? Are you comfortable saying where it was?
I can't remember the apartment complex name, but it's the one over there across the road from Red Mile.
Yeah. That's a bad one.
Yeah. I mean, it was literally getting shot up every weekend. Yeah. And I can remember the guys that had
the Village or Red Mile Village or
I think something like that. But the guys that had trucks on that team, at that point, there was only 4 or 5 of us. It literally looked like just a caravan
That's cool.
of trucks coming in and out of moving guys all over the place. And so, I mean, I helped one of my linebacker teammates move out of there. We helped, a couple receivers. And, I just think at the end of the day, if you can get down that, like I was saying in the beginning, if you can get down on that personal level with guys and know that you're going to have them have their back on and off the field, that's what I think projects you to being even considered a team captain. Because also you lead by example of, like you're saying, being at the 6 a.m. workouts, helping guys through those rigorous fucking workouts sometimes. We used to call them the fourth quarter drill. Everybody calls them mat drills now. And they've actually had to scale back on it just because, year in and year out, the world gets softer. But it had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with strength and agility. None of that. It was literally, how can I break you mentally to see if you're going to quit or not?
Yeah.
And so there's so many times when you have to pull up guys and say, hey, we got this. There's only one more station to go. Hey, get you a sip of water. We're good. Let's roll.
Yep.
And I think when I look at Will and the way I see that he is respected all throughout the team, all throughout the building, I think that that's the guy that embodies that responsibility of knowing that he has to be there for his guys to be able to command the respect that he has in the locker room. And so going back to his decision, at the end of the day, it's completely up to him. And I think at the end of the day, he needs to do what's best for him. He needs to do what's best for his future because he's already left everything out there on the field. Literally, he's left everything out there on the field, and there's nothing else that he can do. Now, there also comes an aspect of how many, this could be Kentucky's 6 or 4. This will be our 7th straight bowl trip, and I believe this will be our 5th straight win. Because the only ones we didn't win were my first 2 years. So that could come into aspect of it. There's so many outer lying decisions or, exterior factors that come into that. But at the end of the day, whatever decision he makes, I just really hope that the Kentucky fans understand that this kid literally gave every fucking thing he had to this place. And he deserves the utmost respect, and he deserves no shit given to him whatsoever. Yeah. If he decides not to play, then just say thank you for what you've done. Best of luck going forward, and that's it. Put it at that.
100%.
I mean, but you're always going to have those people that.
Yeah, but that's half of it, right?
Yeah, I know.
You'd have the haters if you say you're going to play.
Yeah, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah, it's that's why it comes down to, at some point you have to turn your attention to your future and your family.
But I think he's meant, being around him the couple times that I have, I think he's so mentally rock solid, not just physically. Yeah. I just think he's so mentally rock solid where if BBN decided to completely turn on him, he'd probably be like, all right, cool.
I think he's an understanding. He's older. Right? He's been through it. I think he's understanding enough to recognize, like you said, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You got to have tough skin, and he's going to have tough skin in the league. I mean, you want to ask?
I mean, look at a guy like Zach Wilson.
Yeah. You want this to be your profession?
Literally, first round draft pick, second taken off the board. The New York Jets are saying, this is our guy moving forward, our franchise guy. This is a guy that we have chosen out of every quarterback in the country, out of everybody that we could have possibly traded for to get in here. We could have traded someone to get a veteran quarterback in here to our system, but no, we decided to go with a rookie, draft him in the first round, and he's not even dressing now.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference between getting benched for somebody and them telling you, we don't even want you around.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that.
Is that, I don't want to completely change subjects here, but is he the kind of quarterback that could be effective at another program? I mean, like,
I don't know. I'm like, here's the thing. I'm not an aficionado in that aspect of, what systems work best for different players. But I will say in the past, there has been, some players that do fit better in a different system than the system they were drafted in.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at so many guys across the board. Hell, it's even trickled down to the college level. I mean, look at Hendon Hooker. Like, we've talked about him so many times on this podcast, which, by the way, T's and P's to Brandon Hooker. Was my Heisman favorite for the year.
Did you just say Brandon Hooker?
I said,
because you looked at Brandon get up, you said Brandon. Hendon. But yeah, he's. I mean, I hope he still gets.
The starting one's gotten to me a little bit.
I hope he still gets to be considered, though. I mean,
just have how athletic that guy has been, and how effective he's been. Before I get off on this tantrum, let's look at Hendon Hooker, for example. Like, when we played him at Virginia Tech. He was good. Do not get me wrong. He was a great athlete, great player, but he wasn't the Hendon Hooker that was at Tennessee. I mean, you take a guy and put him in a different system, maybe it's something about being more simplified. Maybe it's about, being around more explosive receivers, a better offensive line. I mean, there's so many things that go into that.
Dude, that is specific. I mean, it's with every sport, but specifically, at least with my knowledge, my limited knowledge with other sports, specifically with football and basketball, you see it more than anything. I mean, Jacoby Brissett could be a starting quarterback.
He needs to be
somewhere.
He needs to be a starting quarterback somewhere.
He's earned it, right? But but he was clearly effective, in the way that he was utilized within this offense, right? So that's the case, like you're saying. It's the case with everybody.
Like, speaking of Jacoby Brissett, real quick, I know we're kind of jumping back and forth between quarterbacks.
We're all over the place,
but
it's fully unscripted, baby.
Yeah. But my little cousin, so I told you all my family is Browns fans. And so I have family in Dayton that are even bigger Browns fans. Fuck you doing, Brandon?
Beep, beep.
I think she's like 7. And
who is this, your niece?
No, not my niece.
Who'd you say?
My little cousin.
Cousin.
Yeah,
Okay.
my little cousin. And they told her that Jacoby Brissett wasn't going to be the quarterback anymore. Like, she literally started bawling, crying. It was like, just broke her heart. And to see the way that they gave him a team ball after that win last week in Cleveland, it just shows you that football is the most team-rounded sport, the most emotionally connected sport I think there is in the world, because there's so many guys from so many different backgrounds, from so many different upbringings that have had different journeys to get into the league. And when you have that respect from all those guys in that one setting in the locker room like that, like, that's what I mean, like, meaningfulness.
Yeah.
Like when my teammates voted me a captain, like, they will truly never understand how much that meant to me. And I can only imagine how Jacoby Brissett feels with everything that he's done for that team. Now, unfortunately, you signed a guy in the offseason for $265 fucking million.
Yeah, well, but let me bring this full circle real quick. So, first off, I'm going to piggyback your point, then I'm going to tie this circle together. So, not only do you have all these different walks of life that are involved in football, and I second your opinion, by the way, from what you just said. Not only do you have groups of people from all the different walks of life, but the age range probably is the biggest gap in the pro, man. Right? You got I guess 20-year-olds is about as young as it gets with the 2 years removed from high school. So 20.
Somehow Juju Smith-Schuster was a 19-year-old kid in his rookie year, which 19
I don't understand. Then.
But
all the
you're
way up
looking
to
at 20
what's Tom? 45?
You're looking anywhere
Tom,
between
Tommy boy.
20
That's my
years
guy.
old.
Obviously, we text all the time. Tom. I get to call him Tom now.
Yeah, first name basis.
Tom Brady. What is he? 45?
Yeah, he's 45. But
I mean, am I exaggerating? I don't remember.
No, he is 45.
So 19 to 45.
Yeah, but
right?
he's a rare case.
I know, but I'm just saying I mean, there's
20-year-old kids.
There's
to
linemen
like
that
35.
there's linemen that are 40.
35, 38.
There's 40-year-old linemen.
Let's go 20. I'll give you 20 to on an average. Let's go on an average. I'll give you on an average 20 years old to 38.
Great.
I'll give you 38.
So
that's
20.
So 18-year difference.
Correct. So you've got guys, and we've had several guests talk about it that have been in the league, right? That they're 20 years old, however 22, whatever. They're going out to bars. They're single. They're looking to meet people. They're trying to decide how to like go about their business side of things. Trying to decide how to got to throw in a quid.
If you keep calling it that, I swear to God.
Okay. So those guys, they're fresh in the league. They're trying to figure out how to manage their money. They're trying to figure out who their agent needs to be, consistent, the consistent agent that they're going to stick with. They got to figure out, their routine, their weightlifting, their meal prep, all the stuff that goes into being a pro. They're learning all the different, ins and outs of the league. And then you got guys that have 3, 4 kids. Some of them, nieces and nephews and families and divorces and all the different multiple businesses and all this different stuff that's going on. There's so many different walks of life when you're talking about the professional level of football. So not only how you were raised, not only where you come from, not only your route that it took to get there, but your age, what you value, what's most important to you. Like those things change in each person's life. Like what you cared most about at 20 years old is not what you're going to care most about now or when you're 38, right? Those things all change. Yeah. Then you add in all the business side outside that's off the field, right?
Yeah, you want people to invest in a new restaurant.
Yeah, it's bar, all the stuff, all the people pulling on them for money, whether it's
Then you got to think about the people that they think they got to take care of.
Exactly. Then
like
you bring in your circle.
Well, you got to take care of your mom.
But your circle, right?
Your boys, so many cousins that come out of the woodworks you've never met before, and you got pressure from, so many. And like I said, I'm only speaking on this because I've heard of other teammates that have made it to the professional level of how they've had to turn people down and say no.
Well, they have to learn to say no, but more importantly, they need people in their corner that are going to insulate them from those kind of things, right? Yeah. So take all of that, right, and then again, bringing the full circle together, right? You've got a guy in Jacoby Brissett who, at least outward facing, and I think it's pretty obvious, has won that locker room. They Absolutely. Would go to battle.
They would go to war for that
guy, right? And then you got on the other side of the coin, Deshaun Watson, who's under insane scrutiny for his decisions off the field or the perception of what's going on off the field. You have the fact that he hasn't played in damn near 2 years, right?
He's going to have to earn that locker room.
He's got to go in there and walk into that locker room and figure out how he's going to have that group that, I'm not going to say that wants Jacoby Brissett to be their quarterback, but that are comfortable and trusting of him and say,
here's the deal.
That's going to be tough to do.
That's going to be tough for him because here's the thing. At the bottom line, at the end of the day, Deshaun Watson is going to walk in there and earn the trust of that locker room.
They gave him the money. He earned the money over the last however many years in the league. He's got the money.
And with it being
but that doesn't mean jack shit if that team is not willing to go to war for him.
If they're not willing to go to war for you, if they're not willing to go to bat for you just like they did for 7, like he's going to have to go out there and literally have the most thickest. I could not imagine.
Dude, his first game is Houston.
Yeah, I know. How ironic is that?
Ironic or marketed?
Well, the NFL was the one who decided on the game suspensions.
Yeah, but it's going to be tough for him in Cleveland. It's going to be
tough for him anywhere he goes.
It's going to be hell on earth for nice. It's going to be hell on earth for him.
This shit, Brandon.
It's going to be It's going to be tough for him in Cleveland. It's going to be hell on earth for him in Houston.
Or any other
and every other stadium he walks into, or restaurant, or mall, or
Oh, I'd say that
or
dude,
barbershop.
I would imagine that guy's not going anywhere except for the facility or where he's training, and he's staying at home. And I would imagine that he don't even let anybody know where he lives, just because if that gets because anything can get leaked out today, and I would imagine that he's not letting anybody know. He's probably changed phone numbers 4 or 5 different times. He's probably even changed addresses. If anybody ever caught a whiff of where that guy lived, even with people in Cleveland, then it's crazy. And like I said, I have at this point, like I literally have no opinion.
Yeah, here's the point. It doesn't matter. Like, don't get me wrong. If what he's accused of is like, if it was as extensive as it's been portrayed, that's awful. That's whatever. If he's completely innocent, that's also completely awful. Whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Neither of those things play a factor in this. I'm talking about the fact that he has to go out and perform.
Oh yeah.
Under the weight of what he's dealing with publicly.
Yeah.
I'm not referring to his guilt or innocence at all. I'm saying he's being paid to do a job.
It's
whether you're, working the drive-thru at McDonald's and going through, a divorce, or whether you're
the greatest quarterback to ever live and 45 and going through a divorce.
Yeah. Or you're a quarterback making $200 million and you have to go out. He has to go do his job in a very public forum, and he has to do it effectively.
Yeah.
And while he's doing it effectively, he has to prove to his teammates that he's
rock solid.
Correct. That is a very tall order, very tough ask for anybody.
Especially this far into the season.
Guilt or innocent.
Especially this far into the season.
Guilty or innocent.
Because the offensive line have already created their chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Jacoby Brissett has already created that chemistry with those receivers, which is going to be the biggest aspect, I believe, in this game. Running backs, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, obviously they're the 2 best backs in the league, I think, right now, besides King Henry down in Tennessee. But
is Brandon allergic to us?
No, I think he's just got the flu like everybody else. But
wait, why not COVID?
We can't stop, Todd.
Okay,
we're going to get a strike on YouTube. You don't want to get me talking about that.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, but like you're saying, and we'll end it with this. At the end of the day, like you're saying, God, we can use that for
it's one of the greatest sounds ever. It really is.
I don't know. The top of that Miller Lite popping is probably the greatest sound of all time. But
what's the sound of a can? Let's throw
the can of there's cans, but then there's Miller Lite cans.
No, but can. You're Copenhagen.
Oh, it don't make sense. That's that cardboard bottom, son. It don't make no popping sound. But anyway, let's get back to it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Like you're saying, and like we've been saying this whole time about this conversation, it's going to come down to him showing his teammates that even with him being out as long as he has, he's been studying the playbook, he's been studying game film, he's been studying his receivers, and I would imagine he's been able to practice, I believe, and I could be wrong. I believe he's been able to be at the facility practicing for the last 2 weeks. Up until that point, he wasn't even allowed to be at the facility. So that takes another aspect of it to where it's like, okay, you're not even comfortable being around the people in the building.
Mm-hmm.
That throws a whole nother different dynamic at you.
And I'm going to piggyback that point. Are you done?
No, I was just going to say, like you said, at the end of the day, he's going to have to go out there and earn the trust and respect of his teammates under tremendous pressure publicly. And I think that's going to be probably one of the hardest things in the world to do.
It's going to be tough.
So,
but piggybacking your point, he is a dedicated professional at his craft, right? Say what you want about Rick Pitino, right?
Barry Bonds or
sure, but they were. I mean, Coach Pitino. Coach Pitino is one of the best coaches
of
ever,
all time.
Period.
Legend.
He is an absolute legend everywhere he's been. He knows the game inside. I don't even need to go down that rabbit hole.
And here's the thing. I don't even think and you can go back to your point. If he didn't go to Louisville, I still think he'd be beloved in Kentucky.
He would.
In Lexington today.
And quite frankly, he should be anyway. He's publicly said that the biggest mistake he ever made was leaving here. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, he's an unbelievable coach. That's what he is paid to be, is a coach. Nobody's paying him to be a good person. No. I mean, theoretically. Obviously, there's standards that come with being with any job that you have, and I'm not.
Great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, let me be very clear about how I word that. If you have a job and a career, there's certain things that are demanded of you, especially when you're in the public spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
And he should continue to or live up to those expectations. With that said, Coach Pitino's performance has never been hindered by his decision-making off the field or lack thereof, right? Same thing goes for Deshaun Watson. He just now has to go out, at least from what I know outwardly facing, right? He has to now go out and make up for what he did off the field on the field.
Yeah.
He put extra weight there, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. Like, people use Tom Brady. Use Tom Brady for an excuse, right? Tom Brady's going through a divorce, right? Tom Brady's never going to be comfortable with somebody pointing at, well, he had a bad game. It's probably because he's going through a divorce.
No.
He is too dedicated of a professional.
Have you heard the theory
for that built-in excuse to exist?
Have you heard the theory on that, by the way, about like why he came back this year? So like, I think
are you talking about because of his $100 million waiting for him when he retires?
Yeah.
Oh,
have you heard about this?
Yeah. I mean, I thought about it.
So
I thought about it before. I heard
if
about
you think
it,
about it, dude, it makes sense.
Have you heard about this, Brandon?
And if it's true.
So hang on, we're gonna so the theory supposedly, or a theory, and honestly it crossed my mind, but I was like, I don't know. So they were already entertaining a divorce, and he has a $100 million contract waiting for him from what, CBS?
CBS to call games.
To call games after he's done, which is more money than he's ever made playing football. So he came back to play one more year till the divorce is final, so then he can go make his $100 million. And it's not open to her. Yeah. Which is funny because she's worth like twice as much money.
Yeah,
but still, the point is like, I don't believe that, because I think he's that freaking dedicated. Like, I think he's that.
He
cares that much.
The TikTok, like the Instagram reels and the TikToks of what cracks me up is like for me, like obviously on my feed to the algorithm is, hunting, fishing, working out, sports, and all that shit. But like, I come across like the hunting, fishing reels or TikToks, and it says, "Wife, if you go fishing again, we're getting a divorce." And then you're slowly turning to the camera, and it just cuts to like that badass audio, and you see Tom Brady walking down the tunnel to throw his helmet on. I think that's unbelievably funny.
I mean, there's songs made after that for fishing.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna miss her.
Yep.
When I get home.
Maybe we won't cut out the audio from that video clip of him singing.
But I wouldn't know. That was
if we do cut out the audio from that video clip, though, the song.
I don't want to cut the audio. I want to cut my drunk ass like literally looking into the camera when you can see.
Oh no, that's going in there.
No, dude,
yeah,
Brandon,
cut the audio, but the face.
We can have the audio in there. Like
throw some of those fake.
We're cutting it. We're cutting it as well. It's already been shown. If we're talking theoretically,
we didn't post it.
If you literally told Brandon, insert the clip.
Oh, that's a good point. All right, well, it's been shown. Maybe backtrack and throw those fake glasses on his eyes so you can't see how blasted he actually is.
Oh my god, I'm the worst when it comes to like showing.
Well, here's the problem. My face. I might be the worst. That's why I'm wearing these right now, because I'm drinking.
No, you're just bad at passing out in public places.
I didn't do that.
Brandon, insert the clip.
Did I do that?
I showed you that one night when we ended up.
Oh, that's not the same night. That's not.
No, it's not the same night.
All right, but hang on. I'm gonna rewind back to we've bounced all over the place, but fully unscripted. So I was thinking back, right? Mm-hmm. And Maria was like, "I feel great. Like those Happy Dads had electrolytes and didn't have carbonation, so I feel good." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Yeah, well, you had like 8 and I had
25,
19." But then I remembered what you told me when we were at Ruby's.
What did I say?
All those 1942s.
Oh yeah, you got after those 1942s,
but I was force fed them. Remember, old buddy was coming up and just throwing them at us. So
I do remember that.
I was drinking a gentleman that I know that was down there that night. I was drinking. We'd been drinking the Happy Dads throughout the day, and I'd switched to tequila, sipping tequila at Ruby's. And this guy was like, "Hey, what are you drinking? Let me get you a drink." And I was like, oh, I'm good. I'm just having a tequila cocktail. Like, I'm fine. Like, we were well coasting at this point. And he's like, no, we're doing shots. And so he brings me over a tequila shot. And I'm like, what's this? Because it was gold and I was drinking silver. And he's like, it's 1942. And I was like, oh, I'm not drinking 1942 at Ruby's because I have a mortgage to pay. And he's like, no. Here, take it. And he proceeded to force feed me, 6 of them, probably.
I don't know.
You took at least 2.
I was off in my own world when
You
we
took
were,
at
when
least
we were
2.
at Ruby's. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So the combination of my tequila cocktail, 1942 shots, and our cigar, by the time we got to Bell's, I was just like, Cash, you're on your own, man. I'm sorry, but it's the Wild Wild West. I'm not playing in the bowl game. You're on your own.
You're not. But dude, like bowl games like that, like going back to bowl games too.
That was a good tie back. You like that?
I did.
They're good.
That's such a good time down there because, like I was saying, bowl games are a celebration of because at the end of the day, if you're not playing in the New Year's Six or the college football playoff, it's just another trophy to hang up in the facility to show off to recruits. And
Yeah. So
That's
hang on. Hang on. So you had Orlando,
Jacksonville.
I'm sorry.
Nashville, Orlando, Charlotte. Now,
What was Charlotte?
The Belk Bowl.
That's right.
If I was to rank those and how much fun we had, I'll go from 4 to 1. 4 being.
I bet I can guess it.
Go.
Are you talking?
Now, don't get me wrong. You always have a great time at the bowl game.
You're talking about the city.
No, I'm talking about the time we had.
But I'm saying, like, based on what? Going out? Like,
yeah, all that good shit.
I'm going to go 4 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Orlando.
Okay.
Charlotte, Jacksonville, Nashville.
You're close.
You flip Charlotte and Jacksonville?
No, I flipped Nashville and
Jacksonville?
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville was the most fun.
No, Nashville was the most fun.
That's what I said.
I thought you said Nashville was second.
No, I said Orlando, Charlotte, Jacksonville, Nashville.
Okay.
And that's right?
But yeah, you're right. But the main reason why they're so fun is because you go out and you hang out with the other team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's like you never get to do. It's like an episode of Blue Mountain State, like when their fucking game gets canceled and they have to stay overnight to play the next day and they all party together at the Goat House.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the most fun we had ever had. Because we were like, at the end of the day, we go there, we're like, my freshman year, we walk into the bar and all the Georgia Tech players are there and they have you see their GTs on their polos or whatnot. And, one thing that we always did is like, we didn't want anybody to know that we were football players down there.
Well, not if you're out.
No.
You'll have jackasses picking fights just
and so
for clout.
I think there was about a group of 7 or 8 of us at that time. And there was a group of about 5 or 6 of those dudes over there. And we just literally bought, like, John Wall shots are like $1. Mm-hmm. Like, we literally bought the John Wall shots of that bar and just told the bartender.
This is Jacksonville.
This is Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And we told the bartender, hey, take this tray over to, those Georgia Tech players. And they did. Gave us the old salute, and then we all ended up, dapping up, say, what's up, where you from? And then we ended up, the crazy part is that, like, when you're in the game, you end up like, hey, bro, what's going on, dude? Like, hey, you going to the bar after this?
What night was the night you went out before the game?
Okay, so usually how it goes is that the first 2 nights you get there, those are your going out nights.
And they're like cool with that, right?
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah,
the coaches or staff are cool with that. They know that, if you're old enough to drink, go ahead. I know that we told a story last week of how I shouldn't have been out in Jacksonville.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like the point the
point of it is like it's a celebration.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself, be smart, but there is a curfew. Mm-hmm. Now, curfew gets winded down as days go on. Now, when you get into let's say you play on a Saturday, okay? You get there on Monday, you have your 5 practices leading up to the game because you got to have your first 2 day in pads, your regular schedule all throughout.
Hang on, you get there what day?
We get there on Monday.
Okay. Game Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game Saturday, get there on Monday. So Monday and Tuesday are your big going night outs. Now Wednesday you go out, but you got to be back at, earlier time. And that's when you go out and you have a great time. You drink the town dry and you have fun with your boys. But especially like if you're a senior, this is the last time you're going to be able to go out with your boys. It's the last time you're ever going to be able to, enjoy that kind of aspect of your college life, because after that, it's all over with, So it's such a fun time, and that's why I'm really hoping we get to go to Nashville. I'm really hoping that. But I was going to ask you, in that term of how I just explained bowl games, was there any kind of like how you guys felt on some of the trips you go out to, like the trips that you go to London? Right now?
So we didn't do London. We had the Bahamas in the summer before my senior year. It's silly to say, but like, because we were preseason number one every year I was there, most of the we did the Bahamas, but we didn't have to go anywhere. Like, we didn't have to, like, most everybody came to us, really, like, for the most part.
So you guys never got to go out to a bar well, obviously because of the teams you were on, everybody's
so young.
18, 19 years
now
old.
Sam and I and B Long and most of the time it was the guys that weren't really playing, because the guys that were young. But my senior year, I don't even want to go down this rabbit hole right now because we'll be here all night. But my senior year, we were undefeated. And, during the tournament, right, like during March Madness, we could go out, especially depending on game time. We could go out and kind of explore the city a little bit. Like, most of the time we'd go to dinner as a team, go to a movie, and then, the guys that were capable of going out could have some free time, and we could go do things, and we just have to be back at a certain time. And we had an understanding staff, and quite frankly, we had security with us that could keep their distance and keep an eye on us and would allow us to have fun, as long as we were not,
right,
causing ourselves problems or painting the team in a bad light, was kind of the way we looked at it, right? So we had those opportunities. What sucked was my senior year, we were undefeated, and it never crossed our minds that we weren't going to win the national title. Like, it wasn't even, it wasn't, we didn't even entertain it. Like, we knew going to Indianapolis that we were going to finish the season undefeated on Monday night, and we were going to spend the next however many months enjoying that. And so we were dead ass focused that whole run. And then we go into that Wisconsin game having not really done much to party. Like, we'd spent most of the nights on those trips in hotel rooms playing Mario Kart, like all of us in one room, like all 12, 13 of us would go into one hotel room and we'd have Mario Kart tournaments.
Did you guys ever gamble your per diem money?
On Mario Kart?
No, on dice or coin flips or anything like that?
Not really. We only
not going to say who, because on these bowl trips.
How much did you get?
So in regular season games, you got, I think, $20. And then at bowl games, depending on what bowl game you go to, so the higher level of bowl game you get, better gifts, more money.
The gifts are definitely increased. Per diem money, I don't remember what it was during the
tournament. know a guy that went down there. I think our per diem.
You told this story.
I think our per diem was like $400
a day.
No, throughout the whole week we were there. $400. Dude comes back with like 3,500.
It's good shit.
Based on game of flip. Literally, you're sitting there flipping a coin. Hey, I got 5 on heads. I got 10 on tails. I got 100 on heads.
So legally, just so we're clear, legally, you can gamble on anything that isn't a.
Well, if it's
it doesn't.
It's your boys.
I know, but I'm saying from a legal perspective, you can gamble. You can't gamble on anything that has a college national championship tied to it. That's
no athletics whatsoever.
No college national title. So
we can't even bet on NFL games
because there's a national title for football.
Well, there's a Super Bowl. I'm
saying if the sport has a national title in college, like the sport of football has a title, has a tournament.
It's like
then you can't gamble on it. But you can gamble at Keeneland.
Yeah.
Right? And you can gamble at cards, and you can gamble at coin flips.
You can gamble if you go across the river in Cincinnati at the casino.
Yeah. But
that's fine.
I'm saying
if you're of legal age, which is 21.
Yes, I'm just saying you're allowed to gamble.
AKA Kentucky, please legalize sports betting.
They should very soon.
I mean, we would be one of the richest states in America if
they should very soon. But my point is that you're allowed to gamble. The word gambling has become toxic for college. You can gamble all you want on things that don't have a national title associated with them in college athletics. So, with that said, I remember betting a couple bucks here and there on Mario Kart, but it wasn't anything we didn't get. I think our per diem was $35 for games. but I don't remember it being different in the tournament. I'm sure it was. I don't remember. But anyway, the point I'm getting to is we had those nights, but most of the time, at least my senior year, was all just the whole team together. Because again, Book was 17. I guess he was 18 by the time the tournament rolled around. I was 21. Willie, Alex, Sam, Brian, all of them were 21. But we all stayed in the hotel because we literally thought, like, we were like on Monday night, like,
I can tell you this story.
We're burning this son of a bitch to the ground.
I'm not going to mention any names. So we get to Jacksonville, and the guys that were 21 on the team, we would all go out, and we were going to pregame in our hotel room. So just like we did at the dorm, you take your duffel bag out, whatever it was, and you hide it in that, and you bring it back up. So I go with, like I said, at this time, I had a fake ID. And I didn't buy any at this time. I just gave them money to, get my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we come back, and we have, there was no way of hiding. There's no way of hiding a 30 rack of Miller Lite in a duffel bag without it being noticeable. Like, there's no way that there's fucking clothes in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first 2 nights is also the nights where, like, literally everybody is there to meet their family that's coming in. Coaches are with their kids, their wives, and they're at the, the hotel lobby.
Do you do team dinners, or do you?
Yeah, you still have team dinners, but you get cut loose at a certain time because they want you to enjoy yourself because you've worked so hard the whole season to get to this bowl game that they want you to blow some steam off and have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So we come back to the lobby. It was me and 2 other teammates, and all 3 of us are carrying duffel bags, anywhere between 90 to 120 beers in each one. And one of our coaches walks by. He looks at us and goes, "You guys go down to the Goodwill or the Salvation Army, pick up some extra clothes, huh?" We're like, "Yeah, that's what we did." He goes, "Huh, boys, have a good time. Enjoy yourselves." I was like, "Dude, that's awesome."
That's good. That's good.
But if we do go to Music City, I know that it is around the Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got to practice the first night, so we practiced at Vandy. The first night we get there,
they weren't using it.
No, well, we can't say anything because they fucking beat our ass this year.
I know. I shouldn't have said that.
But so obviously the equipment managers and everybody, they get there like a day or 2 before us because they got to get lockers set up. They got to get pads and everything set up for practice and all that good shit. And like I said, it was around Christmas time. We actually spent Christmas there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we got there on Christmas Eve, actually. And we had Christmas practice the next afternoon.
Sucks. I hate that.
We get off the bus. This made up for it. This right here alone made up for it. Because it was the best gift literally anybody could have ever given us as players. We get off the bus. We're walking down the tunnel to Vandy's indoor facility. And the head equipment manager for the football team, he looks like Billy Bob Thornton in Bad Santa, dressed up as Santa.
It's amazing.
And has all the other student equipment managers dressed up as elves. And it was like nobody could stop laughing.
That's amazing.
Because we're like, how in the hell are you making these fucking grown men
That's amazing.
dress up as elves?
Wait, all your equipment managers are men? Are grown?
Well, I mean, they're anywhere between, 18 and 30.
Yeah, okay.
But most of them were old enough to drink. So I called them, grown men.
Yeah.
But it was just so funny because, he just sitting there looking like, Billy Bob Thornton.
That's amazing.
Which would be a good transition. So we did the Thanksgiving draft last week. Now it's December. This episode will come out December 2nd. So all the way up to Christmas, we're going to do a draft of Christmas something. Okay, so like Christmas songs, Christmas, activities. Have you been seeing that, Nat?
Yeah, I just got it.
Yeah, that's what. Literally, if you guys literally saw me earlier in the episode, just go. That's what I was looking at.
If these cameras are as good as as Brandon says they are, you can probably get me in slow mo swiping that Nat and just giving him the whole.
Give him the business.
Get the hell out of here! All right, go ahead.
But anyways, let's start off with.
Are we doing 5?
Yeah, let's do 5.
Okay.
Let's start off with Christmas movies.
Okay.
Going from 1 to 5.
I think I picked first last time, so I'll give you this.
All right. So my first pick, I've already said it, but Billy Bob Thornton and Bad Santa.
Is that it?
That's my favorite Christmas movie of all time.
Wait, so we're starting at 1 this time? We started at 1 last time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can't say Die Hard because it's not a freaking Christmas movie.
That's all right. Okay. I'm going to say, I might watch Die Hard tonight. I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go Home Alone.
The original?
Yeah, just because I've been watching that since I was like, I don't know, 6.
That's a good pick.
Hey, you hang on. I got a tidbit of information here. So, Macaulay Culkin, the actor that played Kevin in Home Alone, is now older than the actress was that played his mother when the movie came out. Damn. If that doesn't make you feel old, I don't know what does.
I don't even think I was born when that movie came out, though. What was it, 94?
I was going to say 91, the year I was born.
I wouldn't even thought of at that point.
Yeah, it was the year I was born, 91. I'm old.
You are old.
I know. I'm not old as Brandon, though, so I'm not as old as Maria, so that makes me young. Because until she says she's old, I ain't old.
All right, let's go to number 2. I'm going to go with the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Like
the cartoon?
Yeah, the 1965 Rudolph.
All right, I'll go.
That was like one of my first Christmas movies ever.
Have you ever seen Arnold Schwarzenegger's Jingle All the Way?
I have.
I'll say that.
Okay.
Jingle All the Way. I love that. Haven't seen that in years though. I used to have it on VHS. I need to see if I can find it on a streaming service. I don't have a VHS player anymore. So,
dude, if I had a VHS player, I got so many good tapes.
I did get us. Brandon might appreciate this too, as he is a musician. I got us Guitar Hero for the new studio.
Take me back to 07, cuz, through the fire and flame.
I have a feeling we're going to try to do a better job of the content creation stuff. I felt like it might be a good idea to just throw a camera on while we're doing some
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's 2.
Number 2. I'm going to go number 3. Christmas Vacation.
Good
Shitter's
one.
Full.
Okay. I'll take. Give me the Grinch. Jim Carrey.
God.
Jim Carrey's the Grinch.
Damn
you were weighing that.
Dude, no, that was gonna be number 4, bro. Damn
I'm gonna take Jim Carrey's the Grinch. Have you seen the new cartoon Grinch? The newest one, like that came out like 3, 4, or 5 years ago?
No, but I think I've already said this in an earlier episode. The Brett Favre Christmas sweater.
You did say that. Yep, you mentioned that.
I want to get that Christmas sweater.
You got to get that
so bad.
Well, Brandon and I can get it for you as a gift.
Oh my God! Get that. I would love you guys forever.
We'll get that as your. We need to do like a Christmas gift exchange.
We do
on camera here.
We do. That'd be hilarious.
All right, so that's
okay. I'm on number 4.
You're on number 4.
Number 4.
Wait, yeah, you're on number 4.
Let's go with. I'll go Home Alone 2.
Okay.
Trapped in New York.
I'll take. This is actually one of my favorites, but it didn't come into my life until when I was kind of like, I don't know, later, teen years. So it doesn't have as much of a sentimental aspect to me. But the Santa Claus, Tim Allen's The Santa Claus.
That's a good one.
I really like that. I think they did a great job of kind of encompassing all. It's now that I've seen it as an adult, it was funny for kids. And it's also funny for adults. And that's
good family fun.
That's tough to pull off. Yeah. It's tough to pull off. It really. I know you're saying that facetiously, but that's a big. No, I'm sorry. Can you define? We'll put the definition up for Cash later for when he watches this. Facetiously.
It's a big fucking word.
Get that word. He's like, I don't know. He looked at me like,
that's a big fucking word, bro.
Did you make that up just now?
I'm going to get fucking Webster on this motherfucker.
I know you meant that to be a smart ass, but. It's funny as a kid. It's funny as an adult. They did a great job with that Santa Claus.
Racking it in at number 5. A true classic, never goes out of style. A Christmas Story.
See, I knew that was going to be on your list. I never really got behind it. I always thought the tongue. Brandon.
Bomb going off?
How dare you? I think. Well, mine went off too. I think. I never got behind that. I don't know what it was. And it
was the Red Ryder for me. When he got a Red Ryder BB gun, because that was my first gun I ever owned.
Okay. I'll say Home Alone 3 wasn't that good.
No, it was not.
It wasn't that good.
Sorry about it.
Let me go with.
If you say Die Hard, I'm throwing this.
No, I think I'll take Christmas with the Cranks.
Okay.
It's not a fantastically well done movie, but Tim Allen's good, and there's some pretty funny stuff. Well, he's I mean,
were you a fan of Home Improvement?
Yes.
No,
Did you hear what I just did?
Oh yeah, that was one of my favorite.
Oh, fantastic!
Playing hooky from school.
Favorite line. So I watched Home Improvement. Obviously, it was like kind of just on growing up. Like it's like back in the day, you just kind of had cable TV on, right? It's like it came on all the time when I was home from school. And there's this one line that I didn't recognize until somebody, like, I don't remember if it was posted on social media or if I saw this episode when I was older or whatever, but Tim is like, his water's out or something, and he's on his side of the fence, and he's like trying to pull the water hose across the fence to like use in their home. Like he's feeding it through their window from Wilson's side of the like Wilson's house. And he's like yelling out the window, and he's like, "Wilson, I need more hose." And Wilson goes, "Don't we all, Tim?" And I didn't get that till I was like 25.
Couldn't
and I was
say that
like,
on TV.
"That's good. That's good. They snuck that one by. I like that."
Couldn't do that.
But
today.
Tim Allen's great.
It was always Home Improvement and then Maury for me.
Yeah.
Maury was always. I
can see you being on that,
dude. That was hilarious.
I can see that being your vibe.
That was hilarious.
That's why you got such a twisted sense of humor now.
No, that and a lot of many other things.
No, I do like Tim Allen, but in that movie, like he's got the Botox scene, and it's just and I'm at that point in my life sometimes, like I'm like, you know, I love the Christmas tradition and the holidays and all this. I love it. Like I love it a lot. Like I have a tree. Like we're in the middle of a home renovation. I took priority.
Oh, really? You're in the middle of a home renovation? I didn't know.
And I took priority in putting my tree up in the family room. So it's my tree's there, but it's just covered in plastic right now while we're painting. So anyway, love Christmas, love the tradition, love skiing, all that stuff. But I also kind of am like to the point where I'm like, why don't we just go to the beach? Like, let's just take a week and go to the beach. And that's what that movie's about. So I think it kind of ties in adulthood too.
I got you. Anything,
we're getting deep here.
Anything going on in the basketball world?
Yeah, I think we might want to save it for next week because I'm going to put my foot in my mouth after this is, again, we're recording this on Wednesday. So last night, Tuesday night, we had Bellarmine at Rupp Arena, and the game was tied 21-21 at halftime. And I am still processing. We ended up finishing pretty strong, won by 19, played good the last 10 minutes or so, but all in all, you can't play 30 minutes of dog shit basketball and expect to win games in this league. So a win's a win, you know.
Take them, you can get them.
But we're in November, so we're, you know, again, we're a decently young team. We have some elders on this team, elders as juniors or seniors, guys that have played 60 games or more in college. There's like 4 of them this year. But we're still, you know, there's a very sharp learning curve with basketball here. We talked about that with Daniel Orton a couple weeks ago. It bothers me that we're still making some of the obvious mistakes that we're making. And a team like Bellarmine, who's extremely well coached and disciplined, exposed a lot of those. I'll give you one statistical analysis from that game. Bellarmine is one of the best teams one of the slowest teams in the country. Like they use, and I don't mean foot speed, they use every single second of the shot clock. They're looking
for that one shot.
They are literally going to use every single second and wait for you to make a mistake. They're going to be so sound offensively and find a gap in the defense. They're going to either cut you back door, they're going to wait on you to fall asleep on a screen or get rocked to sleep with the ball handler. They take very little dribbles. They pass extremely effectively. They cut extremely effectively. They're always in the right position, moving without the ball. Very, very sound offensively. Extremely well-coached team. Great decision for them to go Division I. They've won some big games. They beat Notre Dame. They beat Louisville already this year, and they're still not even eligible to play in the tournament until 2025 because of their transition from D2 to D1. They're extremely, extremely well coached. With that said, ain't no way they should be able to hold a candle to the type of athleticism and personnel that we had out there. There's just some extremely frustrating things that you look at from the sample that we saw on Tuesday night, and you know, there's a lot to shake your head at. But at the same time, we have a very sharp learning curve. We have a Hall of Famer at the helm with a hell of a coaching staff that's going to figure it out. But I'm gonna let my emotions sink in. Give us another chance to perform on Sunday against a very good team. We're actually going to London to play Michigan, so we'll have a good game then, or a good opportunity to evaluate then and see what kind of progression we can make, what the staff can do with a couple days of practice. With what is that, 5 days in between games, I guess. But statistically, the issue that I have is not only does Bellarmine play really slow, which limits the possessions, but they're 361st in the country in speed of offense. In other words, they use all the shot clock, right? But on the other end of the field, do what?
That Jackie Moon offense.
Yeah. But on the other end, the flip side of that coin, the other end of the floor, they limit their teams to 62 possessions a game, somewhere around there. And we had so many lapses offensively with, either turnovers or terrible shot selection or just not getting, the best opportunity, like passing up open shots, things like that. If you're doing that when you only have 61 possessions, then how are you going to expect to score many points, right? 21 points at halftime, like forget about what they're doing defense. It could have been 21-0, right? Like we could have been up 21 points and it's 21-0, and that's still not good enough because of the issues that we had in limiting our ability to put the ball in the basket. That's what scares me. It's not how good Bellarmine is offensively. It's not the way that, like, they didn't do anything to inhibit us from putting the ball in the basket or getting opportunities to do so. That's what bothers me. I'd like another chance to see them on Sunday before we dive too deep into that. But we'll bring in a guest to talk a little bit more about basketball then as well, unless Will can come in. Obviously, we want to get him ahead of the ball game. So
get that and make it happen.
Yeah, the scheduling is kind of a rough patch getting started here, but we're going to figure out how to accommodate and keep it rolling, baby.
That's it. All right, I think
good
I'm
episode.
Done. I think I'm done.
It was a good episode.
You done?
I'm good.
Brandon,
let's get out of here.
Yep. All right.
Brandon's like, I want to stay another hour. It's been dark for 45
Don't
minutes.
Leave me hanging. Do not leave me hanging.
Sorry. All right, y'all.
All right, we'll see y'all next week.